Midsummer is normally the busiest time of the year for BERMAGUI bait and tackle.
We basically have our peak period from Boxing Day onwards through till after the January long weekend, and that's what really sets everyone up, to get through the winter months, where obviously the visiting population disappears and the population goes back to less than a couple of thousand people.
But with ferocious bushfires burning in this area for months and blanketing the region in smoke, its business ground to a halt.
We're effectively closed for 11 or 12 days, which are normally our busiest 11 to 12 days of the year, and it's hard to believe, but that's literally 70% of our annual income.
Owner Scott Bradley doesn't see much hope on the horizon.
What we're seeing now is February and March and April bookings are being cancelled as well, which is another example of the flow-on effects from the fire. And that's a boat that has a couple of crew members and a skipper. It's just another 2 or 3 people that are not going to be employed to the same extent that they have been in previous years.
Drought and bushfires have hit many communities like the New South Wales South Coast. Now the coronavirus and the shutdown in China is hitting an already weakened national economy. The chief economist of ANZ is predicting it will go backwards in the first quarter of this year.
Australia is a bit more vulnerable to negative economic shocks. The reality is trend growth is much lower, perhaps 2 to 2.5% now, which is materially lower than it was a few years ago. And also the fact that we'd had a bit of a confidence shock anyway around the bushfires. And then we've had Australia's largest trading partner try and start to close itself down to try and contain some other risks. It's not a great combination.
China is Australia's most important trading partner, and Australian businesses are already feeling the impacts. More than 100,000 Chinese students are stranded offshore because they aren't allowed to travel, and tourism operators say there's been a large rise in cancelled bookings.
Even beyond those direct effects, we should expect some material impact on the Australian economy as a whole.
So are these the ones that we are waiting on?
Yeah, they're coming next month.
Are you sure they're coming next month?
Yeah.
Alex BARO is the CEO of online fashion and beauty retailer Black Swallow. Most of its stock comes from China.
We've got a lot of factories that are telling us to stay away, whether those be the factories that we're currently dealing with, that we do have the rapport with, or the ones that we've just been in contact with.
Even though it sources some stock from other countries, the company is now bracing for a big hit to its bottom line.
If they can't put stock on the water or in the air, it's going to affect the revenue. So that's why we're predicting at this early stage anywhere from 1 to 2 mil revenue loss. I'm sure that the overall economy is going to suffer.
More than 3,500 people have now been infected by the flu-like virus.
The outbreak of the SARS virus nearly 2 decades ago damaged the global economy. But analysts say the massive increase in the size of the Chinese economy since then means the coronavirus could have a much bigger impact.
In 2002, China was about 4% of the world's economy. Today it's 17% of the world's economy. If China has a problem today, the global trading system has a problem today, and it will impact every country.
Ken Henry was the head of Treasury during the SARS outbreak. He says even businesses which don't directly trade with China can be hurt.
One of the ways that the flow-on impact occur is because of a hit to people's confidence, consumer confidence, business confidence.
With interest rates already at record lows, he thinks the government should step in to stimulate the economy instead of achieving a surplus.
The pure economic case for landing a budget surplus is not strong, and I think the prospects now of a surplus being realised are quite low.
If you think about the combination of slower economic growth, the unfortunate bushfires, the unfortunate developments in China, there's unquestionably some pressure on the federal government for more fiscal expenditure.
For business owners like Scott Bradley, help couldn't come fast enough.
It's going to be a really tough 2 or 3 months, and we're not really sure how we will manage ourselves through that process at this stage.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.